Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. Let's talk about what's going on in the economy and the market. As a quick recap, the story in 2022 was mainly that inflation was too high, so the Federal Reserve was raising interest rates, intentionally slowing the economy down to get rid of that inflation. And in turn, this led to a fear among some investors that the Fed would have to raise rates so much that it puts us into a recession. So what's changed since the last video I put out? In my mind, a lot. But the markets have largely been behaving in the last several months as they have for the last year or so. So what's different in my mind? Well, in July, the monthly inflation number was slightly improved from the number in June. Then in August, it came down a little bit more, and in September, a little more than that, and October barely moved down again. But then in November, the inflation number went way down. In December, it went way down again. Now, was this a huge shock? No way! As I've said before, make no mistake, when the Fed raises rates, this will bring down inflation. But it does take some time for it to work. There's a lag effect. So, what was the market reaction to all this news of inflation coming down? The immediate reaction was favorable. But then, the markets gave a chunk of those gains back. Why'd the market give the gains back? Well, part of the reason was that the most recent GNP report showed the economy growing in the third quarter at a well above average 3.2%. And we saw some very good numbers regarding the unemployment rate as well. So, as my daughter would say, wait, what? Strong GNP and low unemployment? That's good news, isn't it? Why'd the markets go down? Great question. As I see it, inflation is coming down and the economy is strong. Jackpot. But the market is thinking, oh no, the economy is doing too well. This means the Fed will have to raise rates even more than expected. In other words, good news is bad news, according to the market. On top of that, the Federal Reserve has been very hawkish in some of the recent comments, meaning they're talking tough and saying they may have to raise rates more than expected this year. And the market did not like that. I say, number one, of course the Fed is talking tough. If they were instead discussing stopping rate increases or how nicely inflation is coming down, then this would stimulate markets and the economy and have the exact opposite effect on inflation that they want. And number two, what the Fed says they might do and what the Fed actually does can be wildly different. For instance, a little over a year ago, the Fed predicted it would raise interest rates about 0.75% in 2022. But then they ended up raising rates more than 5 times that much. So what does all this mean to you? What are we supposed to make of this market schizophrenia? Don't worry about it. I've seen this a million times before. It's a phase. This will evolve and good news will be good news again in the eyes of the market. But as far as I see it, inflation is coming down significantly and the economy is strong. That is good news. And how about some more good news? In the last 75 years, do you know how many times the S&P 500 index has been down 2 years in a row? The answer is twice. Twice in 75 years. In addition, when the market's up in the first 5 trading days of the year, which just happened, the market ends the year up 83% of the time. Or how about this? In the last 75 years, how many times has the market been down in the third year of the presidential cycle like we're in this year? The answer is never. Never! So in summary, I am very optimistic about our investments this year. And in fact, I just made some large aggressive investments for my own portfolio. Now, are these facts I've just given you and my confidence level a guarantee the market's going up this year? Of course not. I've been wrong before. I think that was like back in 1982. Anyway, my message is stay patient, stay the course, think long term, and don't get caught up in these daily market gyrations and what you see in the news every day. You'll be glad you take that approach. Until next time.